Hi, audience.
Hey, Mike.
Hi, Heather.
How are you?
Good, and yourself?
Good.
Okay, you're usually on this side.
Okay. Cool. Now, you ready to do another live stream for today?
Yep.
Awesome.
So it's been 4 weeks since the last one.
Mm-hmm. Now, we are waiting for people to comment, so if you guys have any questions or anything, put it in the chat, and we got it here for you.
Okay.
So
maybe I'll just start by talking about my vacation.
yeah, what's new with you?
So I spent 2 weeks in Alaska and Washington State. So first I went to Alaska. I flew from here to Juneau, and I love Juneau. And it was a great time to be in Juneau because the weather was great and the cruise ships were not there.
Oh.
So normally Juneau is this little, very scenic town that during the day, like 100,000 tourists come in and just besiege the town. And but because of COVID, the cruise ships are only very slowly starting to get back into it, and so no enormous cruise ships. So I could see the town like as it normally is.
Okay.
And so one day I went on a 6-hour fishing trip. That was great. I caught the biggest fish by far that I've ever caught. And one day I hiked around the Mendenhall Glacier area, and one day I climbed Mount Juneau and just dinked around the downtown a lot. And there's so much more I'd like to do.
That's
So yeah, I had a good time. Very nice weather. In fact, it was too hot.
Oh, really?
Too sunny and hot. I brought the Vegas weather with me. I was hoping that it would be kind of cloudy and rainy, as opposed to Vegas in July. So then I took the ferry from Juneau to Bellingham, Washington, which is a bit north of Seattle. And I love ferries the way some people love trains. I don't know why, I just do. And so that ferry ride was 2 days and 16 hours.
Oh, wow.
And I just loved it. I mean, I imagine some people might be really bored, but, I just loved the Pacific Northwest. And most of the time you were between islands and peninsulas, so you were never like far from land, so you always had beautiful scenery to look at. And some people might say, Mike, it looked the same the entire trip, but no, I never get tired of it.
Did you see any whales or anything?
Yes.
Ooh.
On the fishing trip, we went right by some orcas, otherwise known as killer whales, and we got pretty close to them, and it was a nice clear day. I got some good
cool.
pictures of those. And then on the ferry, we did a stop in Ketchikan, and we also saw some there. It was kind of cloudy, and they were further away, so it wasn't as good of a viewing. But yeah, had 2 good whale sightings, and I saw an otter. The otter was in Washington, and I saw 2 bears, like right from my hotel room. It was trash day, and somebody put out the trash, and I guess their trash can was full, so they put one of those kitchen hefty bags right next to it, and a bear, I guess a mother bear and her cub, the mother was just trying to get into this hefty bag, but it was apparently really well tied. So eventually the mother bear said to heck with it and just grabbed the bag in her mouth and went up the hill with it, and the baby bear followed her. So I got a picture of that too.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Okay, so after the ferry ride, I'm in. Then my wife and 2 of my kids flew up to Seattle, so I joined them, and we went to the San Juan Islands, which I have a lot of connections to. When I was a kid, we had a vacation house there, so I'm really familiar with Orcas Island. So
cool.
We spent 3 nights there, and then we went to the Olympic Peninsula, which I haven't been to since I was a kid, and that's very scenic as well, with like really beautiful beaches with islands right off the shore that are very like towers with trees on top, and yeah, I had a great time there. So yeah, overall a fun trip. Everything went well. So
awesome.
So I feel recharged and but happy to be back too.
Awesome. Are you ready to get to some viewer
Yes.
questions? Now, remember, if you guys have any questions, put them in the chat. We're only getting a couple people asking us stuff.
Okay, I can start with a Wizard of Vegas question.
Let's do that.
I only have one and I have it memorized.
Okay.
So Gilles Maire, and by the way, pause. I always want to thank Gilles Maire because he documents all these shows, including a list of topics, so thank you very much. Okay, so he asks, what is your favorite casino scene in any James Bond movie? Great question. First of all, I want to say that probably my favorite James Bond movie is Casino Royale. And I love all the casino scenes in there. But because that movie has so many casino scenes, I'm going to exclude that from consideration. And excluding that, I'm going to go with the very first casino scene in Dr. No.
Okay.
That is just such an outstanding scene. Like, not just the way it's shot. Like, it starts with like an exterior shot of the whole casino, and then it zooms in to the baccarat table slowly. And having taken a film studies class in college, these scenes are difficult to do. I think the audience takes it for granted. But there were very few cuts in the whole scene, and that's the first time we hear the James Bond thing. But what many people don't know is that he kind of did it jokingly because I guess it's the villain in that movie introduced herself in the same way first. I forgot her name, but she says, Heather. Or Ferris, Heather Ferris, something like that. And then Bond mimics her. And I understand that when he did that, it was improvised. And the director liked it so much that he kept it in, and it just started that whole way of introducing himself. And I think it also started the vodka martinis, shaken not stirred, and I believe it was the first scene in the movie, and it just set up not just the whole movie really well, but the whole James Bond story really well. The scene itself was just flawlessly done, just so good. And not that you asked, but since it seems we have time, my second favorite would be the craps scene in Diamonds Are Forever. That was at our own Las Vegas, shot in the movie. It was called The White House, but at the time it was shot at the International, which is now the Westgate.
Okay.
And that scene is totally different. By this time, the movies had become a little bit silly, and that's where Bond meets Plenty O'Toole, and they have some sexually charged banter, and anyway, it was a humorous scene. It was very good in terms of the eye candy factor, but I have to give it a finger wagging of shame because Bond was making all the sucker bets, and of course he was winning, as he always does. You have to kind of suspend reality a little bit with the James Bond movies. And then he also tips this woman who is just as we men encounter them if we're betting a lot of money, just trying to hustle him for money for bringing him good luck. And he gave her I think it was $1,000, which
wow.
I don't approve of. I don't like to encourage that. So anyway, there's my answer to that. Thank you, Gilles Mail, for the question.
Awesome. Right on.
Do you have an answer to that one?
Oh, I have to agree with you.
Great minds think alike.
Love it. Okay, so let's move on to the audience. Remember, if you guys have any questions, put it in the chat, and we will ask. There you go. And Ellie says, has anyone ever been kicked out of a casino for being too good at video poker?
When it comes to video poker, what usually happens, including to me, is they just cut you off from all offers. They will put you on what's usually called a DNI list, which stands for Do Not Invite. So no more mailers, no more comps, no more nothing. You can just play the game straight up, but there's no niceties. And you need the niceties to get over 100% in video poker. Nothing worth playing is over 100% straight up. So that's what happened to me at station casinos. I have heard of other people's accounts being deactivated where their player card didn't even work anymore. But I have never heard of anyone who was kicked out read the Trespass Act strictly for video poker. Now, I have heard of it in combination with other things like letting other people use your player card to pick up your free play, stuff like that. So that is my answer to that one.
Okay, very good. So our next question comes from, let's see, Joseph. How was the tourist turnout last weekend now that the mask mandate is back?
I don't really know. I haven't been to I didn't go on the Strip at all last week. I tend to think it was probably pretty good. I can say that since things started to get back to normal, Vegas has just been really packed, and the rooms have been expensive, and this has been a hot tourist destination.
And you can't find a car to rent at all.
Yeah.
You can't even find a car to buy.
Oh, yeah. When I was in Juneau, there was one rental car available, and it was like $300 a day.
Wow.
And it was a minivan, so I cabbed it around. And I'm not sure. Yeah, that's my prediction. I'm probably going to go to the Strip tomorrow, but yeah, right now I'm not really sure.
Okay. So our next question comes from, Scar. Hey, can you tell me any roulette countermeasures that casinos use, and have you heard of I don't know what that is, PIEZO electric?
Let's see.
PIEZO electric right there. That's the first I've heard of it. PIEZO.
Yeah, I've never seen that word either.
You've never seen it either? Okay, at least I'm not the only one.
Okay, I'm not sure if this is going to address what you're asking because I'm not sure I understand the question.
And static charge in a roulette wheel is used as a countermeasure.
I do know that one advantage play. Okay, I don't really believe in this as an advantage play, but some people believe they can clock the wheel without any aids and predict, say, which half the ball will land in. And maybe if this were true, maybe by putting a charge on an electric charge on the ball might foil them, but I'm skeptical that anyone can do that with the naked eye. And I'm not sure exactly what I'm allowed to say because sometimes people swear me to secrecy on things. But I'll just say it's no big secret that electronic devices can be used to aid in tracking that ball.
Yeah.
And that I would definitely call cheating. And I do not know much about the countermeasures of that. So not the best answer I've ever given, but that's the best I can do.
Okay. Well, from a dealer standpoint, I can definitely guarantee there's no magnet under the wheel. You wouldn't believe how many people came up to my table. Oh, well, stop hitting the magnet under the wheel. There's nothing. There's no pedal. There's nothing. It's not like, you're playing the piano and you got a pedal or something. It just, no.
Yeah, I've heard that myth too, and it's especially prevalent with the roulette machines.
Yeah.
And you get the same thing with the bubble craps, like the casino can influence the dice to a certain outcome. It's not true.
If they did that, they would be in such hot water with the gaming control board that it's not even worth it to them.
Right.
Okay, so our next one is the deplorable winner. There is no system that can beat the roulette wheel, but I have developed one that has allowed me to win $150 per day for 3 months without a loss. I have the receipts. Can you email me, or can I email you about my video?
Please don't. This is either a scam or you've just been lucky so far.
Yeah, pretty much the systems don't work and you're on a good run and it's just take your winnings and leave. But yeah, as a dealer, none of those systems ever worked, and everyone who ever said that they never had money to say,
mathematically, they just don't work. And what often causes people to incorrectly think they work is they have a big bankroll and they have very small winning goals. So if you have a lot of ammunition and you're shooting at a very big close target, usually you're going to hit it before you run out of ammunition. But there will be days where you run out of ammunition and never hit it, and those are the days that you have a catastrophic loss.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, so our next one. What do you think about the 9-7 bonus poker?
9-7 bonus poker. Well, I know that 8-5 bonus poker is kind of the standard with a return of 99.17%, if I'm not mistaken. So if you increase the 8-5 to 9-7, that should increase the return by about 3%. So now we're talking like 102% return. So there must be something else with this pay table, like they reduced the 2-pair to 1. I would need to see the full pay table to address that question properly.
Okay. Next up is, what is the most elaborate casino scheme you've ever heard of?
Elaborate casino scheme I've ever heard of.
The example he gives is edge sorting.
Elaborate casino scheme. That's a good question. I don't really have a good answer off the top of my head, to be honest with you.
It's not really a good elaborate scheme, it's just the one that comes to my head. This happened like in the 1800s, maybe at the turn of the century, something like that. And the people, they tried to start a fire in the casino so they could steal the chips, but all of the dealers wouldn't leave their post and they stayed with their chips and they weren't able to steal anything. That's the only one I could think of that was pretty elaborate.
Well, to that, one time when I was playing in the Bahamas, there was a storm, and it knocked out the electricity, and the second the lights went out, and it was pitch dark, you could hear the dealers slamming a lid over their chips and locking it. And then some emergency power came on, and you could see that those dealers had been through this before and knew exactly what to do. And then some emergency power came on so you could at least see a little bit. And what they eventually did was like one table at a time, because some hands were still in mid-play, like at my table, is, like I said, one table at a time. A bunch of guards came over and they let the dealer lift up the tray and finish the hand, and then you had to immediately, I don't even think they let you cash your chips out.
Oh, wow.
They just escorted you to the door and you left.
Oh, wow.
And I came back the next day to cash the chips.
Wow.
I did want to say that this is not really a casino scheme, but there was a college football game between UNLV and the University of Wisconsin, and it's standard in the casinos that a game must go so many minutes for bets to count, and when this limit was like 1 minute away from passing, the power went out in the whole stadium. And they couldn't get it back on, so they could not finish the game.
Ooh.
Even though one team, and I think it was Wisconsin, was way, way, way ahead, and there was no hope of UNLV catching up. And it is very strongly suspected that somebody bet a great deal of money on UNLV, and because they were obviously going to lose their bets, somehow they pulled the power to the football stadium, so they were basically free rolling it.
That's pretty elaborate.
And this I can't prove, but
that would be an elaborate scheme,
right?
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. So
I could see someone doing that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's about as far as we can take that one.
Okay. So our next one, and remember, if you guys have any questions, please put them in the chat. We're running low on questions today, so please give us questions.
Yeah, Gilles, if you can put in a link to the story of that football game.
There you go.
Yeah. So
cool.
so people watching this later can read more about it.
Awesome. Okay. So next up. Johnny says, I play 3-card poker, but I only play pair plus. Am I losing money?
Yes.
What's the house edge on that? It's 7 or 5?
Yeah.
It's 7 something, right?
Okay, so on the ante bet, I believe it's 3.4, and on the pair plus, I believe it's 7.2. So the house edge is more than twice as high on the pair plus, assuming the usual 1, 3, 6, 30, 40 pay table. So
yeah, it depends on the pay table.
You know, I would recommend doing the opposite and only betting the ante. And I know nobody but me plays that way and other hole carders, but bet as much as you can on the ante and go easy on the pair plus. That's my advice on that one.
Sounds pretty good. Okay, so our next one. A good one for the wizard. If 3-card poker did not pay the ante bonus on a loss, what would be the house advantage?
That's a good question. I know I've written about this before, and the reason this is a good question is if the player gets a straight or better in 3-card poker, he automatically is entitled to the ante bonus, and he doesn't need to beat the dealer to get it. And the percentage of dealers that correctly implement this rule, as far as my experience is 0. I mean, I have probably seen the situation like 10 times, and all 10 did the dealer tried to take my money.
Really?
And I said, stop. You know, you beat me on the ante and the raise, but I get the raise, the ante bonus. You know, and if you don't believe me, check with the supervisor. And they always check, and the supervisors always say that I'm right and to give me the ante bonus. But I can't imagine how much extra money casinos have made because they are not following their own rules in the casino's favor. Okay, and I know I know I addressed this somewhere, probably my 3-card poker page, but it's probably not a huge difference. It's probably probably less than 0.1%. Because it doesn't happen a whole lot that a straight or better loses, but nevertheless it does happen. So if you play 3-card poker, know that rule and watch for that.
Awesome, good to know. Very cool.
Thanks.
Okay, so our next question is, have you visited Resorts World yet, and do they have any good video poker? By the way, love you guys. Or, hey guys, love the episodes.
Okay, thanks for the compliment. I have been there. I know I checked the video poker, and it was not good. It was standard for a luxury strip casino, which means it was pretty lousy.
Yeah.
They have hardly any video poker on the main casino floor. I think I found only 4 machines.
Wow.
And in the high limit room, they have some more too. But clearly, whoever is in charge of game selection there is a video poker hater. And if I were in casino management, I'd probably hate video poker players too, because they're not very profitable. But yeah, what little video poker they have there is not good.
Okay, cool. Okay, so our next question is, do you think AI has surpassed humans in poker yet? I like that one.
That is a good question. I believe, I'm sure somebody else could address this really well. I believe that for structured games, in a one-on-one structured game, I believe they have. But for no limit games, I think they have not, and especially for multiplayer games, I don't think they have. But I could be wrong on this. In the comments, feel free to correct me and give me your evidence if I'm in error. But yeah, I should know this because I have found the whole humans versus computers in chess fascinating, and computers have definitely beaten the best human beings at chess now, and just fairly recently they have beat the best humans at Go. So
Didn't they have an AI on Jeopardy or something
like
that?
Yeah, that was Watson.
Watson, that's what it was.
Yeah.
And he beat everyone, I think.
Yeah, I believe that he did. Yep.
Cool. So, okay.
Okay, that's the best I can do with that one.
Cool. Next up is Neon Vacation, staying with video poker. What spots in Vegas are you fond of if you play?
Did he say regarding video poker or just in general?
Poker. Yeah, video poker.
Yeah, I haven't played video poker in a long time because I'm on the DNI list with stations, and I think I'm on a similar list at Boyd casinos, and I'm on a similar list with MGM Mirage casinos, and video poker has just been going downhill for 25 years. So yeah, I've seen nothing good to play. So
is there anything that gets you excited?
I would get excited if there were a good video poker opportunity out there, like somebody was running a whatever promotion that gave me a good advantage. Okay. That would excite me, and I would go there with a lot of money. But I haven't seen anything like that in a long time.
Okay, cool. Okay, so next up is always betting on underdogs a good strategy. With less win percentage, is it possible to end up on positive?
My advice there is that definitely betting underdogs is better than betting favorites, and it's better than betting some mixture. However, is it going to give you an advantage? Probably not. There will be seasons here and there where it does. I think it depending upon the sport, it's going to give you probably a house advantage of about 1%. Mm-hmm. And if you combine betting underdogs and shopping around for good lines, that can give you maybe a very slight advantage. But there's a lot of people in Vegas that already do that, so it's pretty competitive. And it's something where you need a lot of money to make a little money, and you need beards or runners to bet for you because you never know when a good line will pop up.
Okay.
So, but for just the recreational player, yeah, I definitely recommend betting underdogs. And beyond that, I also recommend betting unders. And if you pointed a gun to my head and said, should I bet an away team or a home team, I would say bet an away team. Okay. But again, there it's not as strong of a correlation as underdogs.
Okay.
So that's the best I can do on that one.
Awesome. Okay, so next up, do you have some general tips for a blackjack tournament? 60 players, 500,000, and this is from M-Dog.
Okay. Hey, M-Dog. Nice to see you. Okay. Let me see the specific conditions that he put. Yes, we're in front of a blackjack table. Okay. The strategy with tournaments is going to be contingent upon the specific rules of that tournament. The way blackjack tournaments typically work is, how many players did he say there were? 60?
60 players, 500,000.
So probably the way they would do this is they would do it in what's it called, like levels, where you have to win at your table to advance, and sometimes in the early levels 2 people advance, so that they're going to assign you a table, like table number 4, and they might say the best 2, we're going to play so many hands, and it's like 20, and the people with the top 2 chip amounts are going to advance.
Okay.
And then if you advance and you play at another table, and then you try to have to beat that, and then if you beat that table, then you go to the final table. And usually the final table, everyone wins something, but according to your place, the higher up you place, the more money you win. And usually most of the money is in first place, like 2/3 of it. Okay. So, okay, but this is just the very general strategy. In the early rounds, bide your time and bet low. Lots of times, a lot of players will burn out in the early rounds just because the dealer has been hot or they're overbetting, whatever. I mean, it has happened where I could bet the minimum the entire all 20 rounds and still advance because all the other players burned out. It doesn't happen very often, but usually a few players will burn out, and then I would say when you get to like 5 hands left, then you need to really identify who the enemies are. And the most important thing to understand with casino tournaments is the dealer is not the enemy. The other players are. And you have to identify who your biggest enemies are, who has the most chips, and that's who you want to beat. And it's good to bet after your enemies. If you are behind, you want to bet opposite of your enemy. If your enemy bets big, you bet small. If your enemy bets small, you bet big. And it's the opposite if you are in the lead. Then you want to mimic your enemies, the people trying to catch you, by betting the same way. And lots of times it's going to happen where you have to throw out a big bet. Either half your bet, leaving you room for doubling, or all of it. That's just the way tournaments are. You need a combination of luck, if I may call it that, and skill. So don't be afraid to throw out some big wagers when it's necessary, when you need to catch up to somebody. And I could go into the fine points, but I don't want to belabor this too much. One thing I don't like to do is to wait till the very last hand, because lots of times you're in a situation where you need to double on an 18 or something like that. I like to make my move when there are about 5 hands left. I try to get in first, and hopefully I do, because I would rather people be chasing me than me chasing the other players, and let them be having to make throwing Hail Marys, like hitting an 18 or doubling on an 18. And yeah, that is my quick course on gaming tournaments.
Okay.
So by the way, let me just also say that this is a great advantage play, because most recreational players are terrible with tournament strategy, and they play with the mindset of beating the dealer. No, you need to advance on that table, and a dealer that's hot is just as bad for you as it is for the other players. So it's the tournament. Playing the other players is much more important than playing the cards. And but the reason it's a great advantage play is if you apply skill, I think you will have like a 3 times better chance of winning than the average player. So if there's, say, $500,000 in 50 players, that's $10,000 a player on average. But a skilled player can probably triple that, and it'll be worth $30,000 to him. But the casino is going to give that invitation to people that are just deserving it at a $10,000 value. So yeah.
Okay.
Sorry for going kind of long on that one, but I love tournaments. I love to talk about it, and let's talk about it more personally later.
Sounds good. Awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah. I got a question for you.
Sure.
What is your definition of luck?
Yeah, that's a good question, and I try to avoid saying the word luck as much as I can.
That's why I brought it up, because
yeah.
you said luck.
Okay. To me, luck is just mathematical variance. It's like throwing a dart at a bell curve. It might land on the left side, it might land on the right side, it might land somewhere in the middle. It's just a way of expressing randomness. I definitely do not think that luck is some kind of a force that causes good things or bad things to happen to you. Like, I would never agree with someone if they said, I always have good luck or bad luck when gambling. I think that everybody has equal luck before they play. But if I bought a lottery ticket and it won, I might say that I was lucky, but it's not like there was a force that caused me to win. It was just random. So like I said, I hesitate to use the word luck, but sometimes there's just no good substitute.
Can I add to it?
Sure.
Okay. And I agree completely with you. And then going on that mathematical pathway, when you have your lucky streaks, when you have your good luck streaks, and you have your bad luck streaks, for people out there, it's just like sitting down and taking a penny and flipping the penny 100 times. You're going to see streaks, and that's just part of it, and that's called statistical fluctuation. Yep,
you're absolutely right. So when I autograph my book, I either say, "May the odds be with you," as a reference to Star Wars, or I'll say, may the odds be ever in your favor, a reference to the Hunger Games. So I like to use the word odds kind of in place where somebody else might say luck or force, because I think that's more mathematical. And what I'm trying to say is, may your dart land on the right side of the bell curve, that kind of thing.
Awesome. Very, very cool. Okay, so next up, and let's see how we're doing on time. Okay, we got 20 minutes. Are there any new casino innovations on the horizon that excite either of you? We kind of talked about this.
Okay, there's one. I can talk about this now because it was posted publicly. And this is going to be bad for the players, but I think it's going to revolutionize video poker. There is a product out now, and again, this is public information, so I can say it, by Acres Gaming, that is going to track your skill level. And it's going to retain that, so the casino will be able to see how skillful any given player is and comp them accordingly. The less skilled the player is, the more they're going to get comped. And this is going to be terrible for the skilled players, but I think this is going to revolutionize video poker. I think it's going to really bring it back, because the casinos will be able to kind of get rid of their skilled players, and they will be able to improve the pay tables and bring in the recreational players that play horribly. And and I'm not saying that that I'm looking forward to this, but video poker players, get ready for this. It's coming, and you may start to think about what game you're going to play next.
So if you're a video poker player and you're in the casino and they're giving you a lot of comps, should you worry?
Yes, absolutely. If they're giving them to you, if you're a skilled player, you should worry. If you're not a skilled player, it'll probably get even better for you.
Okay, cool. Let's do the next question. Have you ever worked in a casino?
Yep, I worked at the Venetian for 4 months when was it? It was around like 2013, 2014. And this information I've talked about before, but here's the story with that. A big fan of mine was head of the slots department at the Venetian, and he really wanted to hire me. And they had a division at the Venetian at the time called Global Gaming, and this division was tasked to make reports and I guess advise all the Sands properties, including the ones in Macau and Singapore. In reality, this division of like 50 people basically hardly did anything. They did create some reports, but there were so many people, including me, sitting around doing absolutely nothing. And it was it was a good job for me in that it was very, I wasn't asked to do a whole lot. When I first started there was a queue of new games for me to analyze for the casino in Singapore. But once that list was exhausted, I really didn't have much to do. And I went down to the casino floor a lot and spoke to the floormen about ways I thought that the casino could be making more money, and I expressed these ideas to anyone who would listen, but everyone was like this, like, I don't want to change anything, because if I change anything and it works, I won't get credit, but if it doesn't work, I'll get blamed. So the culture there was was status quo. Like, I'm just going to do my job. I'm not going to do anything more than my job, and I don't want anything to change. And so anyway, so one day my job disappeared. I was never fired. My job just disappeared. And then I heard from other people in my department, and one of them I knew through my son's fencing, that I was just the first casualty. People either got reassigned or their jobs disappeared, one after another. Wow. throughout global gaming, and it's my understanding that this whole department just doesn't exist anymore. Like somebody must have finally realized, why are we having 50 people on the payroll that and they're not doing anything to help the company. So, and I'm allowed to say this because I refused to sign their NDA upon leaving. I sacrificed 2 weeks of salary so I could tell you guys that story.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. And on behalf of everybody watching, thank you.
But yeah, and I don't want this to come off as like I have any grievances against the Venetian. I was paid well there, and I only had to work part-time. They have great benefits there. They have great employee cafeterias. They really treat their employees nicely. It really was a nice place to work. And if I was at the top of the organization, I would have asked, what are these global gaming people doing?
Yeah.
Why do they exist? And I would have gotten rid of the whole department too. Okay. I do have some hard feelings against certain people who I won't name, but yeah. So that experience happened. I don't like to be angry about things. I try to look at the good that came from it. And by the way, shortly after that, that's when I got a really bad case of food poisoning that nearly killed me. And fortunately, I had that good Venetian insurance that I cobra'd, and that saved me through that.
That's
so
good.
I got really good medical care for that.
Cool. Oh, man. That sounds like a journey.
That is the Venetian story in a nutshell.
Cool. Okay, so next up is, it looks like Caesars properties are tightening up the rules in Blackjack to increase the house edge. Is this a growing trend or just a temporary due to COVID?
It's absolutely a growing trend. I mean, up and down the strip, you're hardly seeing any 3-2 blackjack on the main casino floor now. At the new Resorts World, the number of 3-2 games on the main casino floor is 0. I believe they have $100 minimum tables on the main casino floor that pay 6 to 5.
Wow.
Yeah. And
it's becoming a unicorn. You can't find it anymore.
Yep. And I think during the 3 months when the casinos were shut down, I think they did a lot of thinking, like how could we make more money? and they got rid of a lot of tables and substituted them with either more slots or electronic table games. I think that they realized how little profitable blackjack is. And this is, by the way, one thing I kept saying at the Venetian is we have too many blackjack tables and the minimums are too small because we are not making any money on even a $50 minimum blackjack table, given the cost of labor and the good rules that they had at the time. So I was a big proponent of more Pai-Gow poker tables, which is quite a profitable game, and increasing minimums. Of course, nobody listened to me. I could have said, anyway. So yeah, that is, blackjack is definitely is dying a slow death.
So, what do you think the game is going to replace blackjack?
Just
video poker?
Yeah, more slots. Not video poker. Casinos do not like video poker either. So I mean, it's easy to already see how many casinos on the strip. Like you could see, so any given casino, you can say, oh, this area used to have table games. Now it has slots. You see that everywhere, and you do see more electronic table games. So, yeah. So it's definitely not just the Caesars properties. It is everybody.
Okay. To Las Vegas trend.
Yep.
James says, I've been dying to ask the wizard this. I recently hit Lucky Ladies and Blackjack 8 decks twice in 3 hands. Any idea of the odds?
Off the top of my head, I don't know. I don't even remember what is entitled to hit Lucky Ladies. So that's more appropriate as an Ask the Wizard question.
Okay.
So please ask me that one through my forum or.
And where do you go? How do you do that?
So the easiest way to get my attention is to go to Wizard of Vegas, sign up for an account, and then ask the question in the forum there. And there are a lot of really, really smart people that are good at math at that forum.
Yeah.
And they are happy to answer questions like this.
Awesome. Very cool. Okay, so next up, And this is the last one, so if you have any questions, speak now or forever hold your peace. I saw a Barstool Casino Twitter post of 00 Roulette. It had hit the number 14 10 times in a row. Any idea the odds?
Well, assuming that really did happen, and it was a 00 wheel, I believe you said, the odds of that starting with any one spin is 1 in 38 to the 10th power. Don't have my calculator with me, but it's pretty astronomical. But what I would suspect may have happened there is those readers on those boards that you see, lots of times those malfunction. And it may have only hit 14 once in it, but it just registered 10 times.
Another thing too is dealers get in grooves. They get like in a rhythm, they get in a motion, and if the wheel is turning a certain speed and it keeps a consistent speed, and the dealer is going at a consistent speed and keeps a consistent speed, they tend to hit the same number over and over again because they're doing it at the exact moment.
I'm a little skeptical of that, to be honest with you, because I think if that were true, you would get really skilled dealers and confederates, and they would...
They do. There is. But I'm not supposed to say that on the video. So.
Well, you know, I think that if this could be done, it would happen a lot, and casinos wouldn't be profitable in roulette.
I will tell you this after the video.
Okay. So I guess we have a little difference of opinion on that
one.
Oh,
no. I just have a story. Well... Yeah, I guess I did disagree with you. Yeah, because I have a story.
Well, we'll talk more about it
after
good. The show.
Okay, have you guys ever considered streaming on other platforms to try to grow your audience, such as Twitch?
I haven't.
Yeah, no, Twitch, I'm sorry, no.
I don't even know what Twitch is, but...
The thing about Twitch is it forces you to keep uploading and to keep up to date with it, and if you stop at all, you lose all of your past videos and everything. And it just sort of bugged me. I tried it, and I had a lot of troubleshooting with it, and it just...
Yeah, YouTube's fine with me.
Yeah, YouTube's good. But we're old, so...
Especially me.
Are there any popular games around the world that you would like to see come here?
That's a good one. And to be honest, I can't think of any. You more or less see the same games everywhere, to be honest with you. You see a different mix of them. Like roulette is really big in South America. Sick bow is surprisingly big in Asia. Yeah, nothing comes to mind that I have seen in another country that I really liked and would like to see here. They mostly copy us.
Yeah. There's this one new table game inventor, and his game is trying to get into a casino, and I actually really, really like his game. You know it.
Was it the one we were talking about before the show?
No, it's a different one.
Okay, well.
Yeah, I'll tell you. But I'd like to see that in a casino. Okay. And can you please keep up the Twitter brain teasers? He likes them.
Oh.
He enjoys them.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks. There's a really good thread at Wizard of Vegas called Easy Math Puzzles, and it's kind of a misnomer because a lot of them are hard. But somebody's always posting a puzzle there. And a lot of them that I get are drawn from there. I guess I have kind of fallen out of posting those for a while because I usually had something else to post about. But but thanks for the suggestion, and I should do that more often.
Cool. And then the last question that we have is, what is your favorite game?
Well, I get asked this one a lot, and my answer is the same. If we took the house edge out of it, it would be Pai Gow Tiles. But if we consider the value of the game, then I would either say the top three are Blackjack, Video Poker, and Ultimate Texas Hold'em. And I would probably be playing Ultimate Texas Hold'em because I'm a little bit bored with Blackjack and Video Poker, and Ultimate Texas Hold'em is a high variance game, and if I'm just playing for fun, I like variance. So yeah, that's my answer to that one.
Very cool. And that's pretty much it.
Okay,
so
Heather.
We're done for the day.
All right. Well, anything you want to say? Promote?
Nope.
Okay.
Yep. It's been fun.
All right. Well, thanks, audience, for showing up. I guess we'll end this one a little early.
Sounds good.
So, I'm going to be unavailable on, if I can read your calendar correctly.
All the way to the 3rd, I think, right? September 3rd.
Yeah. Not this coming Thursday, but the Thursday after that, and the one after that, I'm going to be out of town. So I believe our next one will be September 2nd, my father's birthday.
That's cool.
Yep. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So again, thanks, audience, for all your questions and for
Thank
watching.
you.
Thanks, Heather, for producing this.
Thank you.
And
always good to have you over and do this. It's always so much fun doing this with you guys.
oh, well, thanks. Pleasure's all mine.
Cool.
Okay. So see you guys on September 2nd.
Okay.
Bye.
See ya.